You catch yourself checking again. Not your phone, something more interior than that. Checking the feeling, reaching into the space where the certainty is supposed to live, trying to confirm that what you sense is actually coming, and that you haven't been elaborately, embarrassingly wrong about it. The wanting is so consistent, so deeply embedded in who you are right now, that it has started to fold back on itself. You wonder whether the intensity of the wanting is itself the problem, whether wanting something this much is creating a kind of desperation frequency that pushes away the very thing you're reaching toward. So you try to want it less. You try to practice detachment. But the wanting doesn't go away, so what you end up with is the wanting plus the effort to not want it plus the monitoring of whether the not wanting is working. And the whole internal system is consuming enormous amounts of energy and producing exactly the feeling you've been trying to avoid. The sense that you are working very hard on something that is not moving. You have been oscillating between the moments of genuine trust, where it feels obvious and inevitable and you can almost feel it arriving, and the moments of doubt where the trust feels like a story you've been telling yourself because the alternative is too desolate. You've been checking and monitoring and trying to feel certain, and wondering if feeling certain is a prerequisite, or if you can receive what you're calling in even while you're not entirely sure you believe it's coming. You've been running the internal conversation in circles, and the circles are exhausting, and you're here because some part of you knows there is a different way to relate to this, but you can't quite see it yet from where you're standing. I can see it from here, and I want to show you something that changes the entire relationship between you and the thing you've been reaching toward. What is coming to you has already been set in motion. I want you to hear that as a fact rather than as encouragement, as the actual, energetic reality of the situation, rather than as a kind thing said to someone who needs to feel better. The universe does not operate on the visible timelines that the human mind wants to track. It does not wait for the moment of your maximum faith to begin organizing the delivery. It began organizing the delivery the moment you began genuinely, seriously, soul-level wanting the thing. Not the surface wanting, but the deep one. The one that has been consistent even through the oscillation. The one that survived the doubt phases and the exhaustion phases and the what if I am wrong phases. The longing you have carried, the vision you have held even when holding it felt foolish, has been a form of call. Not a request submitted to an indifferent universe awaiting its consideration, but an active signal that has been generating a response throughout the entire period you have been feeling it. The response is not waiting for you to achieve sufficient certainty. The response is not contingent on your performing the trust with enough consistency to qualify. The response has been building in the energetic, pre-material architecture of what your life is about to become, since before you knew you were calling it in. What you have been calling in through your growth, your choices, your willingness to keep showing up for the life you are building and the person you are becoming, all of it has been heard and matched. The question of whether it is coming was settled some time ago. The only question that remains, the only question that your oscillation between trust and doubt actually has any influence over, is what is either accelerating or slowing the movement between what has been matched and when it arrives in your visible, tangible daily circumstances. And that question is entirely within your influence, which is not a burden. It is the most empowering thing I can tell you. You are constantly broadcasting a signal, not metaphorically, energetically, in the specific, real, physics-adjacent way that everything with a frequency broadcasts. Your dominant emotional state, your relationship to your own worthiness, your level of trust or distrust in the arrival of what you have been calling in. These are not merely internal experiences with no external consequence. They are the frequency of the signal your life is broadcasting to the reality that is assembling itself around you. When your dominant state is one of genuine openness, when you are living from the place that trusts the arrival, that acts as if what is coming is already in motion, that is not waiting with painful longing, but moving through daily life with the quality of someone who knows something good is on its way, that state has a specific frequency, a clear one, a frequency that is aligned with what is moving toward you, which means there is nothing between you and it that creates static or resistance or the need to route around an obstacle. The path between what has been matched and when it arrives is clear. When your dominant state is the other one, the doubt, the checking, the effortful trying to feel certain when certainty won't come, the monitoring of whether the wanting is too much or not enough, that state also has a specific frequency. Not a wrong one or a shameful one, but a noisy one. A frequency that contains enough static, enough conflicting signals, that what is moving toward you has to navigate around the noise to reach you. It doesn't stop. It doesn't redirect permanently, but it slows. And the slowing is felt from the inside, exactly as you have been feeling it, as the thing consistently almost arriving without fully landing. The energetic transmission you are broadcasting right now is the most direct influence you have over the timing of what is already decided. Not the only influence. What has been set in motion is set in motion regardless. But the signal you are sending determines how directly and how quickly it finds its way to you. This is not pressure to perform positivity you don't feel. It is the genuinely empowering recognition that the relationship between your internal state and what arrives in your life is real, is direct, and is within your influence in ways that the effort of checking and monitoring and trying to feel certain is not. What pulls what is coming closer is not what most people think. It is not the forcing of positive feeling. It is not the disciplined suppression of the doubt until you can manufacture a sustained state of unwavering faith. It is not thinking about what you want in a particular way or repeating particular words or performing a version of trust that you don't genuinely feel. All of those things are effort in the direction of the signal. An effort in the direction of the signal is not the same as a clear signal. What actually pulls what is coming closer is much simpler and much more available than any of those things. It is genuine openness. The decision made once, then remade as needed, to act as if what is coming is already on its way. Not because you can prove it, not because you have eliminated all doubt, but because you have decided that the trusting posture is more aligned with where you want to go than the doubting posture, and you have made the choice to live from the trusting one even on the days when the trusting is a choice rather than a feeling. The specific behaviors that embody this are small and ordinary. It is making the plan for the life that includes the thing, rather than the life that accounts for its absence. It is speaking about what you want in the present tense of something approaching, rather than the past tense of something that hasn't arrived. It is allowing yourself to feel the genuine, undefended pleasure of imagining what it will feel like when the thing is fully here, not as fantasy disconnected from reality, but as the energetic preview of the arrival. It is putting down the monitoring, not forever, not through an act of will that suppresses the impulse, just in this moment, and then the next, and then the next. The putting down of the monitoring is the most significant of these. The checking, the reaching into the interior to see if the certainty is there, the scanning of external circumstances for evidence, the constant recalibration of how likely the arrival is based on whatever signals are currently visible. The checking is the static. Every moment of checking is a moment of not receiving, of producing the doubt frequency rather than the aligned one, of asking the question, is it coming? Instead of living from the answer, it is. Put the monitoring down. Not because everything is certain, it isn't from your current position, but because the monitoring is not producing certainty, and it is producing exactly the internal state that slows what is already in motion. The energetic climate of the next few days is unusual in its receptivity. Not in a generic good vibes way, in the specific, transit-supported, cosmically amplified way of a period in which the signal you broadcast has a larger effect than usual on what assembles in your life in the coming weeks. The transits that have been moving through this period, the closings, the openings, the enormous Uranian shift that is days away, have created conditions in which the energetic field is unusually responsive to the frequency being broadcast by anyone who is paying enough attention to broadcast consciously. What you radiate in the next few days has an amplified relationship to what arrives in the coming weeks. The trust you choose to live from, the openness you decide to embody, the choice to act as if what is coming is already on its way. These things, in the specific receptivity of the current climate, have more effect on the timing and the quality of what arrives than they would in an ordinary period. The person who uses this window consciously, who chooses the aligned signal over the static in the days that contain this unusual receptivity, accelerates what is already in motion in a way that ordinary trust in ordinary time does not. The person who spends the next few days in the monitoring and the doubt and the checking is not wrong or failing, but they are using a window that could be used for acceleration in a way that slows. And the slowing, in a period when the thing they have been waiting for is already closer than it has ever been, is the one genuinely costly choice available. Understand what you have in your hands right now. A period of unusual receptivity, a thing that has already been set in motion, a signal that is within your influence, and the knowledge which you now have and which changes everything, that your only job in this extraordinary window is to stop creating the static that has been slowing what was already on its way. What is coming to you is already decided. I want to close with that, not as the kind of thing that sounds reassuring but doesn't change anything, but as the actual organizing principle of how you live in the days ahead. The question of its arrival was settled. The question of when you are sending the answer to right now, in the frequency of your daily experience, in the quality of the signal you are broadcasting, in the degree to which you are genuinely, calmly, certain you are not open to its arrival. Stop trying to earn certainty. Certainty is not a prerequisite. The thing is coming for the real you, the one who wants it deeply and oscillates and doubts and keeps going anyway, not for the performed version of you who has achieved an unbroken state of unwavering trust. The real you is enough. The real you has always been enough. The signal of the real you, when it is not clouded by the static of the monitoring, is the clearest frequency available, live in the next few days from the place that trusts. Not because you have proven to yourself that the trust is warranted, because you have chosen it, because the alternative is more of the oscillation that has been exhausting you, and because you now understand that the oscillation, while entirely human, has been adding static to a signal that was already clear enough, if allowed to be, to guide what is coming directly to you. Be calm. Be open. Be the version of yourself who knows something good is approaching and has decided to simply go about the business of living while it arrives. Act in the direction of what you want. Speak in the language of its coming. Make room for it in the actual physical, practical arrangements of your daily life. And put down the monitoring. Just for today, and then again tomorrow. What is coming is already on its way. Your only job now is to stop standing in its path. Let it find you. It already knows where you are.